thing. So yeah, anyone here who is new or just showing up, again, my name is Taylor Thomas. I'm the owner of QCGC. The group's been around for close to 4 years now. I started it in April of 2020 after doing gift card reselling just myself as an individual, basically as a hobby for about a year and a half. Before that point, so I started basically at like the beginning of 2019. I remember like the very end of 2018 was when I first found out what manufactured spending even was, and that was after a few years of travel hacking, but basically just focusing on sign up bonuses and finding free ways to travel and all that stuff. So, I stumbled upon some Facebook groups that were talking about money orders and gift card reselling and buying groups. And of course, at first it was kind of overwhelming because I was looking at like these people talk about all these things and all these acronyms I never heard of. So I saw all these, I was like, what's a VGC and a MYS and what is YMMV, a CSR, all these things I never heard of. Um, so, it took me a few months to kind of get up to speed and to really know what was going on. But then, yeah, around the first part of 2019, I started just reselling gift cards as a hobby to generate points and miles and cash back. And then, in April of 2020, I was like, well, I'm pretty good at this. Let me, see if I can, find my own customers that I can sell to and buy cards from other people as well. Basically, turn this into into a business. So I have been running this as my full-time business, as my full-time gig, since 2021, basically. So this is all I do currently. Um, but anyway, yeah, this presentation I'm about to give is the same one I gave at Chicago Seminars back in October. So I went as a sponsor on behalf of QCGC. So we had a table and everything, and I also gave, had a speaking session there. And I was just mentioning to some of the people who were in kind of early that it was kind of a last minute thing. Like I found out 2 weeks before the event that I was gonna or that I had the opportunity to to give a presentation. They asked me about it, and I was like, sure, okay. And then I just kind of figured out the rest afterwards as I went along. Because I wanted to make a brand new presentation and a brand new slide deck, basically something that I didn't already have before for that audience. Um, so anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen so that I can go ahead and pull that up. Um, let's see. Let me, yep, there we go. Yeah, so I've just got this pulled up um in Google Drive for now. Um, and I'm also going to share this link with everybody afterwards, just in the chat here in Zoom, so that you can go back and go through this and just have access to it whenever you want. Let me know, like I'm assuming everybody can see this all right. Let me know in the chat if there's anyone who cannot, or maybe confirm for me that you can before I move forward with it. I just want to make sure everybody can see that correctly. Okay, sweet. Um, appreciate it. Cool. All right. So yeah, basically this what I ended up deciding to do for the presentation at Chicago Seminars was do a like give people a roadmap to how you could earn 1 million points in a year. That just sounds like a really fun number to use there. Um, I know there's lots of people who are just starting out, some who have been doing this, um, already and are looking to scale. And there's also people, both like some of the attendees at Chicago seminars and also a lot of the people in QCGC in the group who, maybe 1 million points in a year doesn't even sound like that much because because they've done way more than that, multiple years in a row. And there's even like one person I remember talking to him in particular when I was, or multiple people, two people actually, when I was setting this thing up. And they were like, "Oh yeah, I do like way more than that. I, you know, 2 million or however much." Um, so it's definitely possible. Again, there's a wide variety of, I guess, experience levels between everybody that's in the group. Um, but that's basically what this is. It just gives you a one example of a roadmap that you could follow. Now I'm going to preface before I start this that um, I in like when I actually made this and presented this at Chicago seminars, I didn't realize beforehand how much content I had put into this thing and how long it was going to take. So when I actually did it at the event, like there was no time for Q&A. Like I was finishing up and then they kicked me out of the room because like time ran out. So what I'm gonna try to do is um go through it fairly quickly and not take too long on, certain parts of it. Like I mentioned, I'm gonna also share the link with everybody so you can go back and look at it later. And then at least we'll have some time for some brief Q&A like towards the end. And I also scheduled the Zoom meeting for like an hour and 15 minutes anyway. So anyway, I'm gonna keep moving here. So basically, just a quick interview of what's gonna be in this presentation. So it's got four main parts. The first one is basically what is gift card reselling, just a refresher for anyone who needs it or for anyone who is brand new. And then the actual roadmap to 1 million points. Keep in mind this is just gonna be one possible roadmap and way to get there. Obviously, there are tons, like there's an immense amount of different paths you could take to reach that goal, depending on where you live, which deals you have access to, which cards you get, whether you have a P2 or not. And there's going to be a slide that talks about that. What I might do in the future at some point is have like an actual case study and maybe bring someone on and then talk about like their actual um experience and maybe like kind of review of their year, like which cards they got and how much volume they did to generate how many, total amount of points they got. But this is just basically showing you like one way of doing it. And it's especially helpful if you're new or you're kind of starting out or you've done some and you're looking to scale and you just want to get a breakdown of like, okay, how would I actually make that happen? Then we've also got, just some tips on staying organized and efficient and then some risk mitigation tips as well, which, I just want to reiterate, everyone's going to have access to this later so you can go back and read through this stuff. So, without further ado, as far as, this first part, what is gift card reselling? Most of you probably have a firm grasp on, the answer to this, especially if you have been doing this for a while, and even if not, if you've looked at the first module in the onboarding course, if you haven't, obviously go look at that. Read as much as you want in there. So the question is, why might someone participate in gift card reselling? And basically, the answer is, your cash back is limited to your everyday purchases. That is not only cash back, but also your points and miles. So a lot of us do this to be able to travel. And typically when people start out, they're just getting sign up bonuses. But then beyond that, it's like, well, with your everyday spending, how much can you really earn? So gift card selling is a form of manufactured spending that allows you to, go beyond those limits, and it's similar to doing money orders and buying groups in the way that you are, buying something, selling it to somebody, getting paid back, and then you pay off your card and you're keeping all your points. And as this, section mentions, basically a gift card buying group, which is what QCGC is, acts as a broker and utilizes crowdsourcing in order to, get the total quantity of gift cards that we need to be able to sell at a profitable rate to our customers and make a profit, basically. Um, and this is what the process looks like. We also have a diagram that shows visually what this looks like on the QTG website on the homepage. So you get notified about promotions on gift cards. you buy them, you sell them to a buying group, a gift card buying group, you get paid back, and you pay off your credit card and keep the rewards. Um, and then this is the slide I was alluding to that talks about, crafting a hypothetical roadmap and the fact that everybody's journey is going to be unique and is going to depend on a bunch of different factors. What I wanted to do with this instead of, creating a hypothetical roadmap that was like either very challenging to do or that just like seems way too easy is to find I listed out all the different variables that primarily play into this stuff, and then I tried to find like a middle ground there. So in this one, with this hypothetical example, and of course, each of these things, like some will apply to some people and some won't, and everyone's situation is going to be unique. But let's assume that you or whoever we're talking about here, lives near Kroger and Meyer, allowing for easy access to in-store promotions, has the time to actually drive around and do those in-store deals, is eligible for all the sign-up bonuses that we're going to talk about, which, is not always a given if you have a good amount of cards already and already has, a certain amount of Amex cards and you have some employee cards with your Amex card too, and you're able to, scale to some extent some of these Amex offers. Let's assume that you don't have a P2 because if you do, obviously you can just do, double the amount of sign-up bonuses, which helps a lot. And let's say you haven't been targeted for any Amex employee card offers, which is, a thing that certain people do and generate a lot of points with. Let's say you're above 524, so you're ineligible for new Chase cards, that you don't already have any Amex Gold cards. So that's what we're going to work with there. This could be flip flopped, and you could probably still, reach that goal of 1 million points in a year, if you really wanted to. And all this stuff pretty much just summarizes a lot of the things I just said. So I'll skip over that. Some brief details on the Kroger promotions in case anyone doesn't already understand how this works. So basically, Kroger runs 4x fuel points promotions pretty frequently, where you get 4 times the fuel points for every dollar you spend on gift cards. So, you spend $250 on gift cards. So let's say Apple, you earn 1,000 fuel points. Um, if you were to sell that Apple gift card to us at 93% of its face value, you basically get this back. And then those 1,000 points you generated, since we buy them in increments of 1,000 points and we price them based on, for every 1,000 points. If we were buying those at 17.50, it would be basically we'd be paying you this for the gift card plus this for the fuel points, and you would get back the same amount that you spent, so $250. That's one example of how the math would look like if you were to break even. A lot of times with Kroger, just because of how saturated the market can be sometimes, and just the supply and demand at any given moment, the total payout rate might be slightly less than break even, so it might be 1% less. So, for example, in this same scenario, with the gift card being sold at 93%, if the fuel point rate is just $15 per thousand, you're getting paid back, this for, and you originally spent this. So you're basically getting back 99% of what you spent. So you're losing on the front end $1, which would be similar to what people do with Visa gift cards and money orders. You're basically paying a fee to get that spend, but you obviously have to do it in a smart way using the right credit card, that gets you, 3x or 4x, at grocery stores in these cases. Um, that's basically how that works. And Kroger, as mentioned here, it's the second largest grocery chain in the U.S. after Walmart. It has a ton of affiliates, stores that it owns all across the country. So, it covers a lot of ground. There are areas that don't have Kroger. Myers is pretty similar. So instead of fuel points, you get basically just 10% like cash back. It's basically Meyer store rewards. That they're called M perks, and you have to like use them at Meyer to actually buy more things. And these are ones where, sometimes people, if they shop at Meyer on a consistent basis and that's where they buy their groceries, they might just sell us the gift cards and use those Meyer store rewards, on their groceries, in which case they're essentially liquidating them at like, or those points are worth 100% of the value to them if they're actually using them for products. Um, Sometimes we're actually able to buy the M perks as well. So similar to the Kroger promos where we're basically buying the gift card and the fuel points as a combo deal. And most of the time we bought the M perks from Meyer at like 60% of their value. So in this case, if you're like selling an Apple gift card at 93% of its face value, so basically 7% below the face value, and then you're selling you get 10% back in the Meyer rewards essentially. Sell it at 60%. It's similar to Kroger, so you're like 99% total after everything. Even though sometimes there are better promotions with Meyer that have allowed us to even go up to like 102% in total. Um, and Meyer's in several states, including the following that are notated here and typically overlap with Kroger. That's the first section there. I'm going to check a couple of these questions or comments before I move on to the next part. So Noea asked, isn't it risky to sell fuel points? So in the past, there have been times when Kroger has like basically voided accounts, or nuked them, as some people like to say. Um, and I believe it was that was last year, around like the middle of the year when that started happening. And um, like when they started out, they were just nuking like all the accounts. It was pretty crazy. And then they kind of like loosened up on it. They kind of stopped. And since then it's been like for the most part it's been okay. And like sometimes they start, nuking or voiding accounts a little bit more, and they just kind of go back to being kind of chill about it. So like that still happens, but it's the minority um of the accounts nowadays. And we also ended up having to, come to agreements with our customers saying, hey, like you're gonna have to take some liability here for these accounts. So like if an account gets nuked, like you're still gonna have to pay us for it because otherwise no one's gonna sell us points because it's too risky. So we've set those agreements up with them. And sometimes it's just, hey, they just take on all the risk, and sometimes it's the supplier has the risk for the first 24 hours, and then after that, um, if the account's good past that point and then it gets like blocked, then our customer is still liable for it, meaning they still pay us and we still pay you. Um, so the risk is definitely less. A couple people are talking about areas where there's not Kroger and Meyer, so New Jersey, California, Boston. I forget which Kroger affiliate is in California. Uh, I don't know if it's like Ralph or Fred Myers or one of those. But there's definitely one of the Kroger affiliates that's in part of California. It might not be all over the place. Um, I forget the I forget the main ones that are in New Jersey. If there's I don't remember if there's Giant and Stop and Shop up there. Yeah, so Food for Less and Food Co. are Kroger, and also in the okay, Stop and Shop. So there are some deals for that. Again, like I'm not going to cover all the types of deals in this presentation, but there are. Let's see. Um, in Well, there's this module that has just the examples of different deals, and then there's also the deal guide. So, for example, I mean, well, this is just kind of a brief rundown of different deals, but if you go into the deal guides, Kroger and then Giant Food. there's this list of all the Kroger affiliate stores in here you can click on, and you can see all those, right? So you got Foods for Less, Foods Co. But there's like, like 20 of these, it looks like. Harris Teeter is also a Kroger affiliate, even though it's not on this list. I don't know why they haven't updated it. And then with Giant Food, you can read, all about this stuff, but there's basically some of those affiliates of that chain as well in some of those areas. So I would encourage everybody to just, go read through these things, because you never know. You might assume that you don't have a like a good grocery store where you can find deals at in your area, whereas you might actually have some. And sometimes it's just because, you know, again, the fact that Kroger has all these affiliates, so it's not actually going to say Kroger, is some different chain. And same thing with Giant here. So yeah, everybody definitely like review all that stuff thoroughly so that you know what you have access to and what you don't. Um, Eddie, I'm assuming this is Boston, BOF. Or okay, yeah. So there's Market Basket in Boston, which I don't have a guide for yet in the onboarding course. But if you go to gcgalore.com, which is the the site we post the articles for the deals all the time, and you could just, I mean, you could just search in here Market Basket, but they also have that list down there of everything, so you can just click on that and see the articles that are tagged with that merchant, and it shows you all the previous deals. So these are and I've even seen sometimes Market Basket deals that like people in the group have just sent me that haven't even shown up on here. But sometimes there are pretty good deals. They're just not very frequent. So, anytime where they do 10% back on, a variety of different gift cards, there's typically going to be something good in there you can take advantage of. But like I said, like I mentioned, back here, regardless of where you live, if you are below 524, if you have a P2, if you have access to Amex employee card offers, you can probably still make this work. I'm going to keep going just to not, carry on too long with any of that. So this is basically it. This is the roadmap to 1,000,000 points, or the hypothetical roadmap that I came up with in my mind. That again is one of many ways to make this happen. So I'm just gonna go month by month, and I'll try not to spend too much time on this. And also, some of this is gonna be certain aspects of it will just be the same, every month. And I also want to just iterate again that like this isn't, this is not some roadmap that you need to follow exactly. This is just one example. Your path to reach that goal might be very different, or you might even have a different goal. You might not want to get 1,000,000 points. You might want to get 250,000, and that's okay too. And obviously, everybody should operate within their own risk tolerance and figure out like what goals are actually right for them. So anyway, let's assume in January, you get a Capital One venture card, and you do a handful of various online gift card deals. So there's things from eGift or My Gift Card Plus, PayPal digital gifts, etc. Um, let's say you spend like $1,000 in that first month, you get 2x points on that card. So you get up to 2,000 points, right? So okay, you started nothing crazy, but you're starting that first month. Then February, um, you do the same thing again with your venture card. You're doing some of those online deals, getting 2x points. But then you also start using it at Kroger on the fuel point deals, and you're buying the gift cards and fuel points and selling those together as a combo, for more or less break even. And let's say you spend $5,000, which depending on your experience level might not sound like a whole lot, or it might sound like a whole lot. If you're just starting out, maybe try to find some deals that are like a couple $100 if it's your first deal, first time ever doing this. And there is module number 7 in the onboarding course also talks about like basically the approach to have when you are starting out to do this, like for the first time and starting out small, but let's assume that you're able to do this. Sign up bonus is 75,000 points. That's at least what it was at the time that I made this presentation. Hopefully it's still the same. After spending 4 grand. And then also for that 5 grand you spent, you get 2x on that. So that's another 10,000 points. So all that combined, you spent 6 grand that month. You earned 87,000 points. Now you're at 89,000 total year to date after February and January. Move on to March. You get a new city premiere. So like not even spending anything on it, you just get it. You get approved for it. Now you have that. You do the same thing you did last month, spending 5K on the venture card at Kroger. So you're getting 10,000 points for that. Obviously, you've already hit the sign up bonus. So that's, done. Um, and one of the things I mentioned early on with one of the variables that we would assume would be, you would have a favorable position for would be Amex cards, and assuming you have a handful of cards, maybe some employee cards on some of them. And one of these Tory Burch Amex offers comes around, which are typically very profitable for people who are participating in these, and then it's just about finding ways to scale it and do a little bit more volume. Typically, what people do, if you don't already know this, is people will use card pointers. So I can pull it up real quick. So cardpointers.com. You can basically, link your cards to this thing, and it will allow you to add Amex offers across multiple Amex cards simultaneously, which is helpful because, normally if you have the same Amex offer on multiple cards and you add the offer manually to one, it'll like disappear from the rest. So this allows you to just, add them all to like the same offer to multiple cards simultaneously. One person did point out when I actually gave this presentation in Chicago that there's always the risk of clawback with Amex. Like they're typically, a lot of times there's things that they're cool with, and then they decide, hey, we don't like that anymore, and we're going to retroactively, take back some of your points. So always be aware of that. In the examples I'm using here, I'm assuming you're doing that on 10 cards, so nothing insane. And some of the people do this, and so far, you know, I haven't heard of people like really getting into trouble with this kind of stuff with the the Amex offers. Because it can always happen. So I'm sticking with 10 cards on this, and I know people that do like anywhere from 3 to like 25 or however much. Um, yeah, so we got someone here saying they love card pointers and basically already made their money back within the first month with that. Anyway, moving on with this. So basically there are these Tory Burch offers around like twice a year where you essentially get 20% back at Tory Burch. So you make a purchase at Tory Burch and they give you 20% back in statement credit. So and the offers vary. And you might even have, different offers on different cards. So you might get, okay, spend $300, get 60 back in statement credits, or spend $400, get 80 back in statement credits, or I've even seen people spend $500, get 100 back in statement credits. So it just depends on which ones you have. We're gonna go with the lowest one. So so $300, for each one. If you spend $300, get 60 back, or you're getting 20% back in statement credits, and then sell those to us at 87% of face value, which is typically where we're at with those. We typically buy those around 87%, more or less. So you're making a 7% profit. So on $300, that's $21 per card. If you do that on 10 cards, that's $210. Since this presentation is about how to generate 1 million points, not $1 million in cash back or anything like that. Just to make it simple, I'm gonna say, okay, $210. That's pretty much, we can kind of view that as being the same as 21,000 points. Um, and of course, sometimes these like people get these offers and the rebate is in the form of MR points anyway, you know, so it might be you spend $300 and you get 6,000 points. But anyway, that's where all that comes in. And then the same thing again, you know, so this is basically going to be this part's going to be the same every month. Let's assume, you know, you're doing $1,000 a month on just some random various gift card deals, and it's all on your venture. So you get 2x points. That's 2,000, you know, points from that each month. So all this together, I mean, by the way, all this math is correct because I'm going to be disappointed if there's anything that's off because before I even presented this, like ran through this several times, making sure that all these numbers actually, you know, added up to these totals down here. But yeah, so you spent 9 grand in March, 33K or 33,000 points to what you got. So now you're at 122,000 total. I'm gonna do a few more slides here and get to like the midway point of the year in this thing, and then I'll review the chat and answer any questions all at the same time. So going into April, again, some of this becomes repetitive, right? So all right, 5 grand on venture. Um, this is new. So this is from the city premiere that you got back in, you know, March. So let's say, all right, you hit the ground running with that. You do, you know, 5.5K. This one gets you 3x at Kroger. Um, so that spin on its own would get you 16,500 points. Um, you know, and you could also like if in March, you know, you just got the card, this might also include some ramp up spend that we don't even show here. So maybe you just start using it on some personal purchases, right? And there's some activity on it, and then you start actually, you know, spending a little bit more in Kroger, and you could even, you know, do this amount over the entire month and kind of ramp up there. But anyway, 16,500 points there, 60,000 point sign up bonus after spending 4K. Um, Another Amex offer on the Kohan gift cards. And of course, there's way more Amex offers than the ones that I'm showing here. These are just a couple. It depends on how many you want to participate in and how much you want to scale each one. But similar thing here, you know, so um, you know, on these you typically on these, I believe, get back. Mm, I'm honestly trying to remember. Um, I mean, I could look really quick, see if I could find it. Um, and you can also look for these Amex offers on if you go just on cardpointers.com. You can just search. They have a search bar, and you can search for a brand and see the different Amex offers that have, you know, come up. So, you know, like this one, okay, spend 150, get 30 back. So you're basically getting 20% back, you know, as a statement credit. If we buy it at 88%, there's, you know, 8% profit there. So $12 per card, do that on 10 cards, $120. We're just going to convert that into points, so to speak. Even though it might be in points already, if you get MRs as a statement credit, so 12,000 points there. And you know, like obviously, like that's not a ton, but it does add up. And I wanted to have some variety in here, so it's not just everything is Kroger and Meyer, right? Um, Sometimes there's also Dollar General deals, where, you know, for example, maybe it's you, and I even had one recently where you just get 15% back as a straight discount on um, a bunch of different gift card brands, you know. So let's say all that's break even, you're doing a venture, you know, 20,000 points on that. Let's say you do 10K. You know, same thing here. We know about that. So, you know, 23 grand to spend, you get 120,500 points in that month. So at this point, you're closing in on a quarter million. Um, May, same stuff here, you know, 5 count venture, 2x there. So you're getting 10,000 points. Same thing with City Premier. Same thing with online deals. Let's say you also get the Michigan State Visa Signature Card, which is, I don't know how many people like have that one or know about it, but it gets 3% cash back at grocery stores, which is why I, you know, included it here. You know, June. All this stuff is kind of the same. So, 5K on venture again. You've hit 25K with the venture. If you want, you could be done with it, or you could just you could keep using it. What I tried to do is with each of these cards, it was like, I would say, okay, like, you know, I listed out for the entire year for each card, like how much spend I would allocate towards each one of these presentations. So that's why I said, like, no, you've done 25K, you kind of stop if you wanted. But you could also keep going, or you could do less, on this one, and maybe, or you could do some on this one, in future months, and maybe do a little bit less on other ones to spread it out. But yeah, that's the same. This is the same. You got that Michigan State Visa signature card, pretty small sign up bonus. It's like $100. So let's say 10,000 points. If you spend 4K, you're getting 3x on that, so you're getting 12,000 points there. And then you're also, let's say, all right, you get an MX Gold, and you're spending, say you go ahead and spend 5K on that. You're getting 4x at Kroger. So that's 20,000 points. We got this again. Those little online deals. So you spent a little over 20K in that month, got a little over 70,000 points. And now you're at, 341, 341,500 points year to date. I'm going to briefly check on these chat messages. And I'm going to have to kind of speed this up to get through the rest of the stuff because I don't want to make it, too long. So I've never heard of this offer.love, but yeah, people, yeah, feel free to check that out, everybody, and I'll look at it as well later. Laura said City Premier and 3X at grocery stores. Um, it does. Yeah, I don't know if that was a question or a statement, but it does. It gets 3X. And I have a friend of mine who is in the group who said I don't know how long he, took to kind of ramp this up and get his card or get City like used to him spending this much. But I think he does around like 10K or more. At grocery stores buying gift cards per month on his City Premier. So that's 30,000 points plus a month. And Noya asked about is it mostly in-store purchasing or are there some online purchases too? There are definitely online purchases too. There's a let's see, another helpful section of the onboarding course is if you go into examples of deals and you click on online deal examples, there's a few there um, that you can look at. I don't know if on Gift Card Galore if they have something where you can be like where you can filter by like only, or maybe this is it. Okay. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, so you can go in here, like before this list of all the brands and just click on e-gift cards versus physical. The thing is, or the reality is, the physical in-store deals are a lot more scalable, typically. Like the online deals, like, yeah, there's this limit and it's hard to bypass it because it's online. Um, so that being said, a lot of times the online deals are more profitable, like kind of due to the fact in some cases that it's less scalable if there's less supply available. But yeah, I mean, there's stuff from Newegg, here's Staples.com, giftcards.com, even on Kroger.com, they'll have stuff sometimes. And I know some people are able to buy gift cards with their Kroger account online, and they get the fuel points and everything. But a lot of times Kroger will cancel those orders. So I think the main thing is like seasoning the account so that they don't do that. And from the people I've talked to, it sounds like you basically want to have a Kroger account, like actually use it in the store to buy actual groceries, for a while, and then like start using it to, buy some gift cards online during some of those deals, and maybe start out with smaller gift cards. But yeah, I mean the Amex offers are always the thing and always available, and those you can do online. A lot of times you have to buy a physical gift card so it like tracks correctly and get it shipped to you. But you can always do those. Um, and yes, these in-store purchasing deal or these in-store purchases are only being done when there's actually a deal. So you wouldn't go in if there's no deal and just buy a gift card at face value and sell it at a loss. That's typically not going to be very, viable or profitable for you at all. So it would be when a deal actually is going on and when we post something about it. I'm going to try to go really quickly through these last 6 months here. I'll say, again, like everyone will have access to this afterwards. You can go back and look at it. But I don't want to take too long on any section here. So, a lot of this is the same, you know, 5K on MX Gold, 5K on or 5.5K on City Premier, 4K on the Michigan State card. I personally have it. I've used it myself. Another Tory Burch offer, which those typically happen, twice a year. Same thing here. So now you're at, these totals here. You're getting closer to, the 500,000 mark. Let's say in August. Um, you know, all this is the same. You get a Venture X business card. You spend 6K on that. You're getting 12K point or 12,000 points. From that spend at either Kroger or Meyer. Some online deals. Now you're getting really close to 500,000. It's in September. Um, let's say you already have, in addition to the Amex Gold card that you got, let's say you already have, another Amex card. So like, say it's a platinum, maybe you have two platinums for whatever reason. If you've gotten it twice to get sign up bonus, or you have a green card or something, and you product change to get a second Amex Gold. So now you could spend 5K a month on both, or a little bit more than that in this case. Um, only reason this is this specific number is because of how I placed like the fact that I placed the second Amex Gold card in September, and then to actually max out that 25K of spend, uh, for the year between September and the end of the year. So same thing with City Premier, Michigan State. Spend 12K on Venture X, get 24,000 points. Let's say another Amex offer on Olhan cards comes up. The more online deals, now you're at these numbers here. At this point, this is might be the highest spending month, to this point, so 35K. Which again, might sound like a lot to some people, might sound like not a whole lot to some. I know people who have spent that much in a day, Um, on to November, all this pretty much is still the same amount on these same cards every month. Let's say you also go ahead and apply for and get approved for the City Platinum Select World Elite MasterCard, which gets you, AA miles. You spend another 12K on your Venture X, which gets you to that 30K total spend on that card. And that card, last time I checked, had a 150,000 point sign up bonus after spending 30K. And you're still getting 24,000 points for this amount you spend. I just realized I have a typo there too, so that's funny. Um, and now you just this is your biggest month yet. So now you're at 834,000 points total. You got 2 months left. So same thing here with the Amex Gold, Michigan State, some random online deals. And of course, again, like at this point, some of those cards I've had like don't even have on here anymore, assuming like, okay, well, like you spent around 25, 30K on some of them. Maybe you want to like be done for the year, but you could always keep going. So that Venture X isn't on here, and or the Venture isn't on here anymore. Neither is the Venture X, but you could keep going. And yeah, you spend 4K on that new city card, you get that sign up bonus, and you also get the 4,000 points. In this case, that'd be AA miles. Um, in November, okay, now you spent almost 16K, a little over 104 or 100,000 points. You're getting really close to that million point, mark and in that finish line. I'm thirsty all of a sudden, so I'm going to take a sip of water really quick. Um, and then December, you're at the home stretch. So I left the easiest sign up bonus ever for last. So if anyone doesn't have this card already, and you're above 524, I would say go get it. I've actually gotten it twice and got the sign up bonus twice. The Barclays Aviator Red. Um, the offer I typically see is like you spend any amount, like you could spend $1, and you have to pay the annual fee if it actually if they make you if it applies to you like when you first get it. Because I've seen some offers where it's waived the first year, and you get 50,000 American miles. Um, you could just buy a cup of coffee to get this. I put $40 because I'm like, hey, if we're applying this to gift cards, sometimes there's, for example, PayPal digital gifts, deals where you buy a $50 like Carter's gift card for $40. So let's say that that's what the spend is. So your sign up bonus is that you get, 40 miles for that spend too. All this is the same. Some more on Michigan State, some more on Amex to finish that out and actually max out that yearly, cap there. Some more online deals. And in this last month, you spent a little over 10K. You've gotten, 86,040 miles. Um, and now you're at this number. So hooray, now you're at 1,024,040 points total for the year. So hopefully everyone enjoys that. Obviously, like I said, and this it's not over yet. That's just the end to that actual, roadmap. But as I said before, this is just one hypothetical example of how you could actually make that happen. And hopefully that's helpful to anybody who, like, again, is just starting out, kind of feels overwhelmed, and or just wants to have an idea of like, well, what's really possible with this? How far could I go, and like, what would that look like? Even though different people may take very different routes to actually reach this point. And this is just some basic summary of some of the, I guess highlights of that. So all the different cards that were mentioned there, so the Venture, City Premier, Amex Gold, Michigan State, Venture X, a second Amex Gold to throw in there, that City Platinum, that AA card and the Barclays Aviator Red. And this is how much in total you would have spent over the year. Average monthly spend would have been this, and in total you got that many points, a little over a million. So let me go and go through this chat. um let's see. Any time to travel with this road. Yeah, you might be able to. Let me go back here. So I'm a bit confused on how to sell these gift cards that he's buying via the Amex offers slash X Kroger. Yeah, so I mean, basically in our group, in a Telegram group, we would be posting um, the, we would be notifying you guys through Telegram about new deals that are going on and also which gift cards we're buying, um, from each one so that you can actually go buy those and then sell them to us. And that's how you would get, paid back. You would get reimbursed, and then you would just take that money and pay off your credit card and keep all the points. Laura was saying, what's the deal with Michigan State? Yeah, so I mean, it gets 3% cash back at grocery stores. So it's just another one to throw in the mix with, along with the City Premier and the Amex Gold, which gets 4x too. Um, this is true as well. So, um, I feel like from what I've seen, like with Kroger specifically, it's actually like I don't know if you get any multiplier at all for the grocery category. I mean, you might as well just use like a 2% back on everything card. Um, as far as I know, or unless something's changed there, because like they do have a third party processor for all that stuff. May was asking, Um, she doesn't have Kroger, so how can she spend this much on gift cards? It depends on where you're at. Like I said, it's not, to get a million points in the year, it's not necessary to have Kroger. It obviously helps. But you could not have Kroger, and maybe you have Amex employee card offers, or you have a P2, it can get double the sign up bonuses, or you're under 524 with Chase, and you can get um, those sign up bonuses, which are really good. And again, you might live near Market Basket in like New England, and be able, and maybe you go really hard on those deals while they happen, even though they're not very frequent. Or if you're near Giant Food or Stop and Shop, you can do some of that too. Also, there's deals with Dollar General and with Target sometimes. Um, so there's tons of different opportunities, and I'll go back and just refer everyone back, one more time to this slide here, which is like, hey, these are all the main variables I thought of that can really affect your ability to earn points. So, there might be people who they have all these are favorable positions for them, or they might have a little bit more of these challenges here, or they might be like the reverse. So maybe all these they don't have access to, but they do have access to all this over here. So it all depends. Um, just to clarify that. Um, you're above 524, get the Barclays Aviator Red. Um, I honestly am not up to date on the Barclays 624 rule. Maybe it does. Um, yeah, I mean, that's something I'm gonna have to read up on and make sure I'm up to date with that stuff. But feel free to also just add some more details on that here at the bottom. Um, so this yeah, with this, any time to travel with this roadmap. I still have time to travel. I just because I'm like focused on running the business and everything, I typically don't go and do a ton of my own like MS anymore, at least not in stores. I've gotten kind of lazy, and I just do sign up bonuses, honestly. Unless there's times when I find a very easy and scalable online way to MS, but I don't really drive around and buy gift cards anymore, because if I did, I wouldn't have enough time or mental energy to focus on everything that comes with running this whole thing. Um, but I'm okay with that. So, but yeah, I mean, I know plenty of people who, for example, it's like, Kroger does a promotion, or some other store, again, could be Dollar General or something, and they, go really hard with that promo for a few days. Um, and that's kind of it for their month. Maybe they spend like 20K or something, and then they're done for the month, right? So yeah, you definitely can have time to travel there. Um, I'm not sure on the specific correct answer to this question about the sign-up bonus for the platinum and that affecting the Amex Gold. Is that related to? I feel like I read some stuff within the past month about something there with like the Amex family of cards, and you not being able to get sign-up bonus on one if you got it on the other one, or it was similar to that. I just don't remember all the specific details there. Um, and then this question, yeah, so you would only want to buy the gift cards from the store when there's actually a promotion going on at the store. So you would, hopefully be able to break even or be very close to that, versus losing, several percentage points. That wouldn't really make sense. So it would require, a profitable promotion to come along, which is, why we have the Telegram channel, so we can post those to you guys and let you know about them, and let you know which gift cards we're looking for. Um, and then on top of that is, you also want to use a credit card to get you, bonus points on whatever category it is, whether it's grocery or something else. HEB also does have good regular promotions. I'm actually working on a guide For that, I've got like the first draft done, and I'm having some people review that for me. So that'll be added to the deal guides module in the onboarding course, which is module 8, probably at some point, in January, since we're about to take our break starting this weekend. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I was I was gonna say very your mileage may vary on this with the Dollar General stuff. I mean, yeah, I know people who do a decent amount of volume whenever those come around, so I'm sure there's a way to do it. Um, yeah, the Chase business cards might not, and I didn't include those in here, you know, one because I wanted to, when I created this roadmap again, one of the things I had listed as the like challenges or the something that like we're assuming like that you don't have access to would be chase cards. So the assumption was like, hey, this person, this hypothetical person that's doing all this is already above 524. But if you're below 524, you could add that in and that would make this whole thing even easier. Especially if you have a P2 and could get double the amount of sign up bonuses. But beyond the sign up bonuses themselves, those specific cards might not be the best ones for just doing straight manufacturer spending just to get points after you've hit the sign up bonuses, right? So that's why we have ones here to get, 2x or 3x on grocery, 4x here, 3% back on the Michigan State one. So ones that have high earning rates on at grocery stores. And yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go through like the other two sections of this. I'm gonna just leave the link so that you guys can look through it because we're already past 7 o'clock, and I didn't have this thing scheduled until 7:15, but we've already been doing this for an hour. So I want to focus more on just kind of wrapping this up and also letting people ask more questions and everything. But basically, these last two sections are about staying organized and efficient. So just some tips there about like barcode scanners, OCR tools for cards without barcodes. That's basically like instead of you having to type in, manually the entire 16-digit code of a gift card, and I'll go back to the onboarding course again. You can use a barcode scanner, which connects via USB to your computer. You scan the barcode on the back of the gift card, which corresponds to the actual gift card number itself, and it just like populates that number into a cell in a spreadsheet. So we've got this module talks a little bit about that, submitting gift cards. Because this first guide within the module is actually how to submit all the gift cards, and it's pretty comprehensive. It's got 26 steps to it. Um, so it shows you how to do everything. But then there's like this one that shows you how to submit cards with a barcode scanner. There's a few steps in that guide, and then there's actually this video too, um, showing briefly how to do it. Um, so you just like shown there, you scan that barcode, that populates the code of the gift card into your sheet. Um, so that's something you can check out there as well as in here. Yeah, there's a bunch of different tips here. I'm not gonna go over the other ones because yeah, I don't want to take too long. But stuff about that, stuff about and let's see, yeah, like some of the tips for organizing the physical cards too. Some risk mitigation for you guys participating in this. And then just some basic info about like what we do as a company to mitigate risk for ourselves, which benefits obviously, you guys and us and our customers. Um, in case anyone's interested, and then there's some actual resources and links to some of these tools that I mentioned. So instead of you having to, go in and search barcode scanner and see, well, which one should I get, which you can still do. But I feel like, some people want to just know like, hey, go get this one and they'll just go buy that. So, it's $22. right now, and it saves a lot of time if you're doing a lot of volume with gift cards. And these are some, places you can go and buy certain things to help you organize everything. Here's some links to some deals. I should have added like a link to card pointers in here um, as well. For like the Amex offers and scaling that. And there's some images of card organization. Some of these are also in the onboarding course. And this is only here because since I gave this presentation to Chicago seminars and some of those people weren't already in the group, they could scan this. It was on the screen there. So anyway, there's a decent amount of additional info that's in here. And like I said beforehand, I ended up not even having time for Q&A when I first presented this because I didn't like really realize how much I put in here and how long it was going to take. So let's see. Um, Scotty Peeler will change your life. Let's see. Um, yep, that's definitely one that could be on there too. So like, so when you're actually opening the gift cards, before you're even gonna scan the barcode or put them in your sheet, this is something that can help as well. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll go in here at some point and like edit this just offline and then re-upload the file with some additional links here. But currently, this is what I got. Um, and I'm gonna go ahead and put in the chat what's on your customers. Yeah, I will answer that. So really quick, there is the link to this presentation in Google Drive. So um, y'all can click on that and then you'll have access to this. It's just anyone with the link can view. Let me double check that though, but I think it is. Anyone with the link can view. Yep. So um, y'all can check that out. Let's see. So without sharing anything proprietary, how are you able to share a bit about how it works selling to your customers? I'm guessing they are businesses themselves. So are they reliable on the back end? Um, yeah. So like I said, I started this in April of 2020. Um, you know, certain things have stayed the same since then. Certain things have changed with that. We got to a point where we basically require upfront payment from our customers the vast majority of the time. And there is a little bit about that down here. So risk mitigation strategies at our company, like the first point is about that. Um, and so because even if they are a business, I try to avoid as much risk as possible, and I try to always maintain as much leverage as possible too. Um, so like this wasn't always the case, but as time got on and like we continued to grow, I wanted to like I've gotten more and more cautious as time has gone on. So basically at this point, I'm like, hey, we have a certain criteria for what we require from customers. And, if they don't want to like comply with that, then we just won't sell them anything. So there's been several times where I've just turned down a deal or a potential sale, um, because I didn't feel good about it and it didn't align with our risk mitigation strategies basically. There's that. I mean, capital management. So we basically, keep as much capital in the business as possible, both for reinvesting in certain projects within the business to make everything, better. Um, and to just keep it as working capital, in cases where we purchase gift cards and we're paying for them before we're selling them. And then we just also have access to external working capital if and when we need it. We do cash flow and inventory reviews on a pretty frequent basis. I have several business mentors because I know that, even with the things that I've like been able to accomplish in business so far, like I know that I don't know everything and I have, a lot of room to always learn more. Um, Having a diverse customer base, all that stuff. So, um, those are some of those main points as far as that specific question. Um, Sorry about that, but yeah, now everybody has access to this link here, so you can go and check it out. I might see if I can also like send this out via email to the people who register or who attended, or maybe just to everybody in the group. Whatever I decide to do there. Um, I'll go ahead and let's see. Stop sharing my screen so y'all can see me again for a few minutes. And really, yeah, I mean that's kind of it. Like I said, I didn't want to spend too much time going on or going over some of those other sections and making it kind of excessive. But y'all can look at that on your own time as much as you want since you have the link. But besides that, we can kind of finish this up over the next few minutes, and I'll answer any questions that anybody has as we're closing here. Yeah, so one person asked, frequency of deals, like how often they happen, and also when deal limits get exceeded, with some of the recent deals. So each deal is different. That's where I'll start is, there's been deals where we've had a huge amount of capacity for certain cards from certain deals. And there's other ones where like, the capacity is very small and we have some capacity, but it's maybe a few $1,000s that we can take in total. Um, Whereas we've had ones for Kroger at times where, for example, we our capacity for Apple gift cards was basically like not technically unlimited because nothing is, but it felt that way, and it was like, yeah, we can take $500,000 of Apple gift cards if y'all can get us that much. Um, and it's like and we like never really kind of came close to maxing that out. Where some of these where it's like, yeah, we can take this deal, but we can take $3,000 or 5,000 total. Um, so that's just kind of how it goes. I mean, it depends heavily on the brand, and also the rate itself that the cards can be acquired at by you guys, and the rate that we're looking to buy them at, and then also the denomination too. Of course, it also depends on what our demand looks like and how much we already have on hand, right? Because there might be a brand that like, yeah, we take this brand all the time, but we already have $100,000 of inventory on hand, and like, okay, we can take a little bit more, but we don't need a ton. Um, so yeah, like and I am also constantly working on just improving the whole user experience and the processes for everything. So obviously the ideal thing would be to prevent people from exceeding the deal limits in the first place. And so I know with at least one of those recent promotions, it was like we did have the total capacity listed um on the reservation sheet, but then the just because of the format of how we normally set it up and the fact that Carmen who creates those sheets and actually makes the posts in the group typically just like uses the same template and like copies the previous sheet and then changes stuff and makes the like changes the details on there of the promotion. It was like there were more rows available than there was for like the actual total capacity, but And I'm actually, next year going to be working on just having a like robust supplier portal that would be web based. So we can move away from Google Sheets, and hopefully with that, um, like those types of situations would be resolved just by having that portal set up, because we would think through all the different scenarios that could happen, um and implement things in there to prevent um stuff that we don't want to happen pretty much. um so I just sent some random person my ACH info. um yeah, so this question here about like what to do now, you've got a Lululemon gift card. So yeah, if you go through the onboarding course, because that basically goes through everything, and I'll drop a link for that in here really quick. Um, Everyone should have the link to it like already, or hopefully most of y'all have already looked at it. But in case you haven't and you want to be able to get to it with just one click instead of having to go find it, there it is. Um, so yeah, there's the link if anybody wants to just you know click on that, or copy and paste that, and then you can put that in your browser and go check that out and check out all the modules in there. But it's pretty comprehensive. It covers pretty much everything as far as reserving the capacity, getting the gift cards, and then submitting them onto the sheet, and how all of that works. As I mentioned, that process will likely change within the next 3 to 6 months. And at some point next year, my plan is to have a more comprehensive and robust supplier portal that will both have better functionality and will look better, visually, than Google Sheets. So that's the plan there, is to have just basically be making constant improvements so that everything keeps on getting better for you guys and easier to use. Um, if there's any last minute questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Um, but yeah, I appreciate everybody for being here. Looks like the majority of the people who were on the call are still here. Not everybody, but you know, nice job everyone who's still here for staying until the very end. I guess that shows how interested y'all are in all of this. Um, but yeah, I hope I did a good job. Hope it was helpful for you guys. Appreciate that. Yes, someone said great content. Always appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Um, but yeah, besides that, like I said, I appreciate everyone being here. Um, and wishing everybody, happy holidays and a happy new year. And looking forward to seeing your names popping up in reservation sheets in the group chat and all that stuff in 2024. So yep, with if there's no other questions, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this call. But yep, appreciate everybody. I will see y'all later on the next call or in the Telegram group.